Hi, my art lovelies. I am using magenta, yellow medium, red, and phthalo blue for the background of our painting today. Please hit the red subscribe button below and like and share this video if you enjoy it. And please let me know what you think about this tutorial having a voiceover on it with music added and a time lapse as well. I just thought it might be helpful. I am using a flat brush and I'm working in circular motions, as you can see, around the painting with my colors, and I'm blending them as I go in this circular motion. And this is because the setting sun is going to be the highlight of our picture. So I want all my paint to move around that setting sun, which is going to be very bright. And I'm going to show you how to get it very bright in this video. I am using very little water with this acrylic paint. As a matter of fact, I don't use any water, barely. I only dampen my brush, but you can do it any way that makes you feel good. I just wanted you to know how I do most of my paintings that way. The only time I'm going to really water down my paint at all is if I'm doing fine lines, which we'll talk about in a minute. As you get closer to the bottom here, I want you to square off your painting and make a line at the bottom. So we're using all these circular motions in the middle and towards the sides, and then closer to the bottom of the painting where we're going to put our dark grasses, we want a leveled line. Now I'm coming in with a bigger flat brush here to just smooth everything out, and then I'm coming in with a smaller flat brush to get all this grass brought in here. Now right now I'm using this phthalo blue here for my background, and then I'm going to bring in a very dark green because again this is a setting sun, so we want our colors to be dark. And so now I'm bringing in that dark green. I'm bringing in that dark green mainly at the top of my painting, here at the top of the grass rather, because that's where the lightness from the sun is going to be. Keep that in mind as you're doing any painting, where your light is coming from. That really makes a huge difference. Now this is where I'm going to talk about using some extra water. When you're trying to make fine lines, you definitely want to add water to your paint. So I'm using that same dark green that I brought in over our phthalo blue, and that dark green was made with a little bit of black, yellow medium, and phthalo blue. And that's what I'm going to use to make my trees, and I'm mainly going to use a fan brush to do that, but you can use a smaller line brush, whatever you want to use for that. Now I'm coming in with some medium yellow to go over our sun with, and then I'm going to fade that out and blend it in with the back so that it creates a hue around the sun. Okay, so the background at this point is pretty dry, and now I'm just blending this out. And as you can see, I'm still using my circular motions, which is very important for this painting to get the look that you're wanting to get for it, to really make the sun stand out. After adding my white and blending out the yellow just a little bit with it, I'm taking my medium yellow with my square brush, and I'm just going around it and still blending. And I'm going to pull out some of this very light yellow to even get the hue of the sun to stand out even more. So I'm going to bring that out even more. And now we're going to go into making these trees. As I told you, I'm going to use a fan brush for mine, but you can use any brush that you feel comfortable doing lines with. It may be that you need a very small brush, and like I said, that's up to you and what you prefer to use. but I am adding quite a bit of water so that this glides well onto the canvas. I actually could have used even more water probably to get it the way that you want it to flow properly on the canvas. Oftentimes when you use dark colors, if you don't add enough water, it becomes where you can see through it almost. You can still see the colors popping through in the background. So now I'm using my fan brush to make a little bit of grass here beside some big trees that I'm going to make. So I'm using the side of the fan brush to make little lines and little bushes and then I'm just going to take my fan brush and I'm going to make big swooping trees here, and then I'm going to come over and make another one. And you know, your trees are your personal touch for your painting. Nobody's trees are going to look exactly alike. And that is just a wonderful thing about painting that makes it your own. So it's really a lovely thing. Acrylic painting is all about layers. So now we're going to come back in with more white into the middle of this sun. And this is really going to make it bright and beautiful and make it stand out. And so that's the key about acrylics, is that you just keep going from dark to light, and it just makes it stand out and makes it beautiful. So I really wanted to make this painting a colorful abstract, so I'm going to be adding quite a few colors for my leaves. So I'm going to be using ocean green, cobalt blue, medium green, magenta, the phthalo blue, and the yellow medium, and red. We're going to be adding all of those colors into our leaves to just make this painting pop extra, and just to add that special abstract feel to it. All I'm doing is I'm taking my palette knife and I'm not even putting the paint on any kind of paper or anything. I'm just literally pushing it out a little bit, taking my palette knife, and I'm just getting a little bit and pressing it onto the canvas to make the leaves. So now I'd like to bring in some light into the grasses right below the sun. So I'm adding a little bit of yellow ochre to the mix that we made earlier for the grasses to brighten it up. And I'm just putting it all along with my palette knife across the very top. I don't want to go all the way down to the bottom because the sun is not touching there in my mind. It's staying right there on the top where it's reaching. And I'm taking that same color and I'm just giving a highlight to the trees just with my palette knife, just going over ever so slightly. And to make this even brighter right here at the very top, I'm going to add some of that medium yellow to the color that we just laid down with the palette knife. Again, I'm using the palette knife again just to move this yellow around to give this grass some more highlight. And now we're going to do some finger painting, and I'm going to add some bright yellow back into the middle of our sun, right in the very middle. And then I'm also going to add some white back to that as well. Just using my finger in a circular motion. And then a little more white right after that, right into the very center. And I'm going to take that same color and with my finger just put that color right here on the top of my grasses to add a final highlight. Hope you enjoyed this beginner-friendly abstract landscape. See you soon. Bye-bye.